Well, these three people thought it was easy to rob a blind man. The guy in and out. Well, he can't see him, so he can't describe what they look like, can he? But as little as they know, this blind man was an army veteran. You think he was an easy target, wasn't he? But they were mistaken. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my podcast, Scared Shitless, where I watch horror movies to get scared intentionally. So please follow this podcast and any other movies that you guys recommend. Leave a comment down below, or tell me what you think of this movie, or don't brief whether you agree or disagree. Now, obviously, that the film was about these three people that wanted to rob this blind man because he's blind, and they thought it was easy, and they didn't know that he was an army vet. Anyway, they were staking it out, and yeah, that's pretty much what the whole film was all about. Which I reckon that was one of the good things about the film. It was under 90 minutes. Hardly no dialogue, no exposition. I mean, you have the first act, you sort of set them up what the characters were. But also when you think about it, the first characters were like, there was shit. This film is so memorable. I remember one of the characters named Rocky. I'll explain a bit later. Well, the one taken female. But I forgot the names of the other two blokes. And space, which is not that important because, so basically, that one of the characters, Alex, I think as his name is, was like taking keys from his old man's security company or something like that. So that's how they were getting in and out kind of thing. And the film opens up with actually doing a job, and then they were like, oh, let's do another job. And it's because the reason we're out. And of course, that one of the characters will back out and doesn't want to do it anymore. And which I think that it was, and well, like about the film, that is pretty much like it was this cat and mouse, near darkness. The tension of it, whether or not they're going to escape or they're over there, he's over there, he feels them and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, there's a twist. Of course, that, especially being a horror film, there has to be a twist, and it turns out that the blind man is a little bit cuckoo and crazy. And you can understand that about his grief because he lost a child, and there's this this young woman that obviously had rich parents and that, and she got off, and I believe that's one of the reasons why he got the money, that these three people were going to rob him, $350,000, right? But it turns out that he kidnapped her and kept her locked in the basement. And wants to have his child. And one of the things he said that I'm not a rapist, I don't rape. And it's like you're sitting there going, yeah, sure, buddy, you're just as fucked up. I mean, if he was a rapist, and well, she'd be let go, and the chances of us, because she'd be so traumatized, and that the chances of her going to the cops are pretty much slim. And I suppose then again, would you trust the cops? Well, I suppose you wouldn't you? So obviously that what these three young people, these two fellas and this Rocky were doing was obviously in the wrong, because it's wrong to steal, and it's against the law. Now, it's like, there's a couple things that I don't really like about the the film, and one of it was Rocky's motivation. Her motivation was to go and get her sister out because this movie is set in Detroit, and if you know about Detroit, it's a very, very poor city, and that obviously that poverty is up through the roof, which they didn't have the twist where this fucking blind bloke, the blind dude, didn't have the fucking the young woman that killed her daughter. Then it could be a bit of about okay, because one of the characters, one of the blokes is Latina, like a minority. And that's another cliche that, of course, that the minority character will get killed first. And obviously that the woman, the lady somehow survives, which Rocky survives. So they're both dead. And, of course, that the minority will get killed first. It's just one of those fucking tropes in horror film, isn't it? Well, I suppose then again, I'm just a bit of a noob and don't really watch that much horror film, but it was bound to happen. Anyway, I was going. Yeah. So anyway, one of the motivations of Rocky was that. Yeah. So if they didn't have that in, then you could be like, if you didn't have the blind man being crazy, then it could be a film about who was he right to be justified of murdering, killing these two people. And she escaped and she went to the cops and that. And at the end of the film, right at the end when Rocky was in California with her sister, your baby sister, kid sister, was that the news report said that, this black got robbed. It's pretty much just, he didn't press any charges against her, which, like, obviously they didn't do it for altruistic reasons. There's a bit of reasoning behind it. And it was like, fuck me, man. And that's the cliche of cliches. It's just like this one stake. It's obviously that the writers were trying to go, okay, where can this go? And look, tell you the truth, I do like some films that, I like films that, look, I don't mind a bit of mindless entertainment. Like a film that you can watch and switch your mind off a little bit. And one of those films that is Jason Statham's Crank. It was over the top. That film didn't take itself seriously. It was an action comedy, or it was an action film that have comedic elements. And when you think about the plot of the film, of Crank, Jason Statham wakes up and has something wrong with his heart, and then he has to go somewhere to fucking, like his whole film is to trying to go and get a fucking, to get the medicine to fix his heart, which he did at the end, and then Crank 2 that he waked up and something else happened, and one of the scenes towards the end that he killed this bad dude, and they kept him alive in his head, and they got him back to his fucking house. I mean, okay, the plot is a bit fucking absurd, but see, the thing is that I landed to absurdity. And another film that, and I don't mind having films that have a bit much of a plot and violence in that. It's like, this is what is great about the film. There was hardly no dialogue. It was virtually a silent film. It's like, because you have the blind man that in total darkness that knows every inch of the house because he can feel his way, which he does, and he could put up a fight because then again he was an army vet, so he'd be training like he was used to combat, and obviously would you defend yourself? Would you try to stop robbing being robbed by these guys that break in? And then at the end of the scene, if you was going to do that, so it would just be better. I mean, maybe they don't have the cops. Maybe just they left or something like that. Or you can have the scene with the blind man goes, "Oh, do you want to press any charges?" And the film can end of him just thinking about it. But it's like, no, it just takes you out of it kind of thing. Like another film, the classic Christmas movie, Die Hard. It was like John McCain was there at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was a New York cop. Went over to, because his wife, Mrs. got his wife, good job at working at Nagio, at the towers in Los Angeles and that. And he was there, flying there to visit her. And then these terrorists came about, and then again, it happened to be that John McCain was the right bloke for the job. And Spice, he did the right thing. He did what he have to do. Like his training came in of him being a cop. But that's a very simple plot. And what you like, and also, it's a film that didn't take itself so seriously, especially the one-liners. But then again, when you think about with that movie, but it wasn't like, I mean, but because it's like if the situation, so what I'm trying to say is if the blind man didn't have that fucking woman, it's like, honestly, to that part, when you found out about that, it took me out of the film, if I'm being honest. It just took me, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this all about? Because I'm watching it going, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, he's over there. Fucking hell, they're going to escape and all that kind of stuff. But it's just one of those fucking films. It just didn't need it to be there. So I really, really dragged it down. It really, really did. And also the fact is that another thing that makes a film, and look, the whole Rocky's motivation, as much of it's cliche, yeah, it's fine. It's okay, whatever. But I just think that if we didn't know much about the character's backstory, if the film didn't spend so much time with the character's backstory or motivation, because the fact is that I think where they live in Detroit, crime-ridden neighborhoods, and these guys are professionals. They're professionals. Like, you could say, yeah, look, they're professional. They organise. They're well withdrawn. They do a bit of reconnaissance and that. And it's like, we don't have to know the reason why, because, I don't know, it's because they're fucking poor or something. Like, so you as the viewer, as the audience member, can make up your mind. And suppose, then again, writing a screenplay, especially writing and making a film, is not easy. As someone that has wanted to be an aspiring filmmaker, and I realised too myself that I tried to write a short story and that I'm not much of a short story writer myself. So anyway, so Don't Breathe. I don't think it was the best horror film ever made. I don't think it was that great, because especially of the whole Rocky motivation of cliched. It's so fucking cliched. The reveal of the blind man having a girl that is locked up underneath the basement is just, it took me out of that movie. It took me out of the film. So it was all right. Nothing to write home about. Anyway, thank you for listening to my podcast. scared shitless about Don't Breathe, please subscribe and follow if you dare. And leave any comments or whether you agree or disagree, or if you do like the movie Don't Breathe, and any other recommendations of any horror films that I should check out. Anyways, thank you. See ya. Bye.